Working on a Simplex steam locomotive, Part 3. Mounting the mechanical lubricator correctly, remaking the oil inlet check valve, enlarging the hole in the front of the boiler to take the regulator tube, fitting the regulator tube to the rear flange using countersunk bolts and Loctite 542. Looking at the inner steam dome, which needs replacing. I need to discuss the mounting of the mechanical lubricator at the front of the engine. The mounting starts off okay. The main bracket that holds the lubricator is fixed to the reverse of the towing hook. But thereafter the mounting goes downhill. This is quite difficult to video because the parts I'm working with are very small, my hands are very large, and it's quite difficult to get the image right. The first thing I have to do is disconnect the lubricator from its main mounting and tip it on its side in order to drain the oil into a suitable container, otherwise it will be all over the bench. I'm using one of my many plastic boxes to catch the oil, and the first thing I notice is that some water ran out of the lubricator. Obviously oil floats on the water, so the water was at the bottom of the tank. The lubricator itself has a one-way valve on the outlet. More about this later. First of all, I need to mount the lubricator to the bracket, and for this I'm going to use 4 very small steel bolts. I'm using the washer on one side only because I want the head of the bolt to be on the inside without a washer so it bites into the metal of the tank. Here's the first one in place, complete with its nut. The steel bolts are a bit too long, but that's a good thing, it makes them much easier to handle. Once I'd finished tightening the nut, I just snapped off the excess thread. Later on I'll clean it up with a needle file. In this clip you see 2 of the bolts in place, 2 down, 2 to go. It's always important to make sure that the mechanical lubricator is mounted very securely to whatever it's mounted to. On the power stroke, once every revolution, when the oil pump is pumping oil into the cylinder, the linkage will put pressure on the mounting, and you don't want the mounting to ever break. And that's the reason for remounting this one properly. With the help of my Barco spanner, I've removed the one-way valve that's in the junction to the 2 cylinders on the inlet side. As I've already mentioned, on the output of the pump there's a one-way ball valve, and this horrible looking thing is the other one. And it took a while to dismantle it because the slot in this plug is too fine. I need to use a larger screwdriver, but it just will not fit in the slot, so the answer was to use the bandsaw to cut a deeper slot. And once I'd done that, with the help of my larger screwdriver, this is what I found. You can see the plug, then you see the ball behind it, and a strange lump of metal, and here's the valve body. I modified the plug by drilling down part of the way inside it to take a spring. The original one-way valve wasn't very good, but this one now with its stainless steel ball and a stainless steel spring should be a lot better. All I need to do now is reassemble the parts using the larger screwdriver, which fits in the larger slot that I cut on the bandsaw. I thought it was a good idea to clean up the refurbished valve, just so that I won't forget that I've already refurbished it. I can't tell you how much better this lubricator feels. It's now securely mounted back to the buffer beam, and when I did this before the entire tank moved about. Now it feels really solid with no movement whatsoever. Time to replace the lid, followed by cleaning off my oily fingerprints using a cloth. Very shortly I'm going to give this entire rolling chassis a thorough clean using a steam cleaner. The lid is a good fit on the lubricator, so I shouldn't have any water problems in there. In a perfect world, the hole in the boiler would be 1 inch in diameter, the same as the brass tube, which as you can see is 1 inch in diameter. But unfortunately the bush on the back of the boiler is slightly under 1 inch in diameter, so what am I going to do about this? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is to remove this part. This is the flanged end that sits on the back head. As you can see on the flange, there is some impact damage. This part of the regulator assembly fits okay on the back head flange, and it's large enough to allow me to machine some off to get rid of the damaged part. The 1 inch diameter brass tube doesn't fit into the hole in the boiler. I cleaned up the end of the brass tube using the belt sander just to make sure it wasn't just some damage at the end, but no, it doesn't fit. A few years ago, via the auction site that we all know and love called eBay, I bought a full set of these. They are expanding reamers. Very useful tools to have in one's workshop, especially for jobs like this. You can change the diameter of the reamer by moving the two threaded collars forwards or backwards, and each of the reamers in the set have a specific range. The range of this particular reamer is just below 1 inch to just above 1 inch. I always find that when I work with copper it needs plenty of lubrication, hence the oiling of the reamer. For the first pass the reamer is adjusted so it's only just touching the sides of the bush, and even though that statement is a perfect example of a girlfriend joke, I won't use one in this instance. This job took quite a while. Each time I withdrew the reamer I made it a little bit bigger. And after the reamer had been passed through the bush about 10 times, look what happens. The brass tube goes through the bush very well. I've actually made it slightly larger than 1 inch diameter, because a small copper tube which fastens into the end of the large brass tube doesn't line up perfectly at the front end of the boiler. The part that I showed you earlier, which is the regulator gland fitting, will have its own gasket and it will be bolted to the boiler flange using 8 bolts. So this is going to be okay, it will seal fine. And now it's time to fit the regulator gland fitting back to the tube. You will notice that the impact damage has gone because I've remachined the part. Time to have a look at the front tube plate. Here you can see the copper tube inside the boiler, and I need to persuade this to come through the hole. And for that I used a Phillips screwdriver, and here is the copper tube sticking out of the end of the boiler. As you can see it's not in the centre at all, but that's because there's a little bit of play now on the rear bush which allows me to move the position of the main tube up or down slightly. Also the small copper tube is too long and needs shortening. Time to fit this to align the tube. So what is it? It's the main steam feed to the regulator. This small but important component takes the steam from the highest point in the boiler, which is within the steam dome. At the moment this steam pipe's a little bit too long, because when I put the inner dome in position, it just sits on top of the brass tube. Unfortunately, in my opinion, this part is unserviceable. Have a look at the distance between the holes around the inner dome flange. So what's been achieved in this episode? Well, not a lot really. I remachined the regulator gland fitting to get rid of the damage, so that's a good thing. I also reamed out the bush to accept the 1 inch diameter tube. I used the regulator's gland fitting as a guide so I could drill through the holes to spot the face of the flange. That's it for this one. I'd just like to say, as always, stay safe, stay well. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.